Farker, who is one of the
Hello everyone, I know I'm late.
in the championship.
Very late start.
The Canaries unbeaten in their last 11 league games, 8 wins, 3 draws.
Let me get sorted out.
And they have the best away record in the division. 41 points picked up on their travels.
You didn't think I was going to miss this, did you? It turned out last time that my family was in the stadium.
Away from home.
They were actually there.
Well,
talk about being jelly.
In celebratory mood already, those Norwich City supporters here on this bank holiday Monday afternoon, which could turn out to be a momentous occasion for those who follow the men in yellow and green. Stoke City, though, have a role to play here. They can have a big say on the promotion and relegation fight in their last few games. They go to Millwall at the weekend and they host Sheffield United here on the final day. But can they throw a spanner in the works here today against Norwich City?
Alright, 1 second. I'll go ahead and mute myself.
To take a huge stride towards the Premier League. It will be Stoke to start us off in the red and white, kicking from left to right. Here is Joe Allen. Edwards was getting forward in support. And they are making their voices heard right from the very off. Fully behind their team. They are the lucky ones who've managed to get a ticket. There's Tribal. Buendia. They have missed him for sure. In the 8 games they played this season without Emi Buendia, Norwich have failed to win. Lewis. Norwich coming here on the back of 3 successive draws, and Stoke City have drawn their last 3 on home soil as well. One thing we do know, Norwich City will fight to the very last. They are the masters of scoring late goals, proved yet again in that Good Friday draw at home to Sheffield Wednesday. That Vrancic free kick after 97 minutes, earning them a 2-2 draw. There's Aarons, cut out by Williams, who's playing at left back today. This is James McLean for Stoke City. Now for the diminutive Belgian, Verlinden. Sends over the cross, Joe Allen was sniffing. And Krul able to get there. Only 1 defeat for Norwich in 2019. Here's Stiepermann. Driving Norwich on. Pookie. Now Aarons. Buendia couldn't take it with him. It has gone off Ashley Williams for a Norwich corner. Well, what a gem he has proven to be, Emi Buendia. Such a fan's favourite. Well, Zimmerman and Godfrey ventured forward for this corner, taken by Buendia. Out it comes to Hernandez. Let's fly! Well, Norwich City setting out their stall early doors here. And Hernandez, on that occasion, not able to hit the target. Well, Daniel Farker has constantly praised his side's team spirit. And we've seen so many examples of it throughout this campaign, managing to mount a promotion challenge on a budget. And Stoke City can learn a lot from that. Here's Afobe, stopped in his tracks by Zimmerman. Hernandez. Buendia challenged by McLean. But Tony Harrington has given Norwich the free kick. Farke does believe that Buendia is the target for opposition teams. He is such a tricky customer. Now can Pukki get there? Not quite. Shawcross beating him to the punch. Tribal. Aarons. Now Godfrey striding out from the back. Given away by Pukki to Joe Allen. One feature of Norwich's play this season is how quick they are to win the ball back when they lose it. Lewis, Hernandez making a run for him. That's Stoke City bringing the shutters down. If Norwich were to get promoted, well, he would be one proud man representing his homeland of Cuba in the top flight, Onel Hernandez. And believe it or not, as a youngster, he wanted an aviary as a kid, but here he is playing for the Canaries. And his favourite shop, incidentally, is Argos. And one of his first shopping expeditions in Norfolk was to go to his local Argos store. There's Stiepermann. That's well wide of the mark from Marco Stiepermann, who has filled the role left by Mr. Maddison, who went to Leicester very well, but couldn't keep that one down. But James Maddison's high-profile departure last summer was expected to affect Norwich, but not in the slightest, really, with Stiepermann, who really has stepped up to the plate. Jack Butland back between the posts, having become a first-time father last week. Not expected to be at Stoke for much longer. Aarons. Gathered by Buendia. Gets away from Williams. Stiepermann chased down by Joe Allen. There's McLean into Hernandez. Lewis. Stiepermann. Lewis trying to find a way beyond Tom Edwards and overran it. Well, Norwich do have two exciting fullbacks in Jamal Lewis, 21 years of age, and over on the opposite side, Max Aarons at 19. It's a scuff clearance from the England keeper, Jack Butland. As far as Stoke City are concerned, scoring goals has been a major issue, not just this season, but last as well. Something that Nathan Jones has to try and put right in the summer. At the top of his shopping list will be a goal scorer. He's made no secret about that. And Norwich City have proved that if you look hard enough, you can get them. Teemu Pukki, who cost them absolutely nothing. And there he is, looking to add to his impressive goals haul. Well, our cameras were at Carrow Road when Norwich were walloped by Leeds earlier in the season, and all the talk after that game was that Daniel Farke was about to lose his job. But ever since that defeat, they have simply not looked back. And of course, the Norwich boss recently signed a new contract. Here's Joe Allen. Edwards. Shawcross in his 11th year at the club. Ashley Williams on loan from Everton, going long. Afobe getting in the area, pulled back to the edge instead. And Verlinden unable to make any further progress. Norwich will have to restart here. Moving ball, and Tim Krul played it to his left, and Ben Godfrey. Well, he has had his critics on occasions this season, Tim Krul, but has maintained the support of his manager, Daniel Farke. News from the KCOM Stadium is that Sheffield United have gone a goal up at Hull. David McGoldrick has got the goal there. That is not good news for Norwich in terms of their quest to get the job done today. A long way to go, of course. But I'm sure those Norwich City supporters will soon learn of events over on Humberside. One or two just checking their phones, and that will be a familiar theme throughout the course of the afternoon, you would expect. Allen, chased down by Pukki. Williams. Atabo. Allen. Edwards in space on the right, that's where it's gone. Edwards delivering early. It's a good delivery and put over. It's a really good chance for Sam Clucas. Well, Nathan Jones saying after that Good Friday defeat he wanted his team to be more ruthless. Well, that's another chance that goes begging. Kenny McLean. Buendia. Seen off by Edwards. Tribal. Buendia. Challenged by Atabo. And Stoke can build. Verlinden. Foul by Tom Tribal. He was lively on his league debut last month, Tibor Verlinden, in that game against Reading, but he's had to wait several weeks more to get another opportunity from the start. Hernandez trying to take the ball from Edwards. Tribal helped him out in achieving that aim. Stiepermann. And the pass not quite accurate enough for Emi Buendia. Held up by Afobe. Joe Allen was clipped in the middle of the park. And here's the opportunity for Sam Clucas, stretching to get his head to the ball. But does offer encouragement for this Stoke City team. Stoke have drawn an awful lot of games this season, far too many. If you look at their last 5 games here, 4 draws in that spell with 1 victory. Buendia. Stiepermann. McLean going long. And Lewis got himself in the box but couldn't bring it under his spell. He can shift, by the way. Was a national champion athlete as a youngster. Jamal Lewis named in the Championship Team of the Season. Max Aaron's on the opposite side, named as the EFL's Young Player of the Year. So those two have really caught the eye this campaign. Zimmerman's header. Brought down by Atabo, who gets it back from Ashley Williams. Danny Bart under pressure from Hernandez. Butland able to sweep it away. Lewis. And if Norwich didn't achieve it here this afternoon, they could still find themselves in a position where they're trying to stay abreast of the game down at Brentford, where Leeds are later. They'll be in the air when that game is taking place. But first and foremost, they need to win the game here and hope Sheffield United slip up at Hull. Buendia feeding it forward. And Jack Butland had gone out there to try and retrieve that ball before he could get there. It was cleared out by McLean. Buendia. Stiepermann with Ashley Williams at his back. '88 of the 97 goals scored by Norwich players in all competitions this season have been scored by players signed by Daniel Farke or given their debuts by him. Hernandez losing control of it here. Well, he swung with his right boot, but the ball hit his standing leg. Verlinden, challenged by Godfrey, Stiepermann, Buendia, Tribal, now Pukki. Arons. Tribal. Now it's patient from Norwich City. We know in the blink of an eye they can turn it on very, very quickly. Buendia out to Arons. And Klukas got in there for Stoke. And Godfrey with a towering header up above Benicofobie. It's interesting that the two centre-backs, Godfrey and Zimmerman, at the start of the season were only really featuring in cup games. McLean on to Hernandez. Cross is stopped by Danny Bart. Allen getting the challenge in, so Norwich have another throw. Stiepermann showing for it. Lewis. We are now in the 18th minute. Both sets of supporters paying tribute to Meg Newton, who was recently attacked and sadly passed away over the last couple of days. She was a huge Stoke City supporter. She was just 18 when she died. Really poignant moment inside the stadium. Emi Buendia on set-piece duty for the Canaries. Pukki looking to pounce, and Butland with the save. First time that the England keeper has been called upon. No surprise that Teemu Pukki was the player asking the question. Buendia. Out by Danny Bartz. Collected by Arantz. Buendia ran into trouble in the shape of Etebo. Verlinden did brilliantly, picking out Joe Allen, who's only got Afobe up in support. Now Edwards arriving on the scene. Verlinden, that's ambitious, and it's comfortable for Tim Krul. Well, the first opening for Norwich City coming from this free kick. Ashley Williams putting a ball straight into Teemu Pukki's path. And Jack Butland spreads himself well. Pukki here caught offside. It's really good play this from Jack Butland, spotting the danger and saving with his leg to keep the scores level. Clean sheets in 6 of his previous 8 appearances in Stoke City colours. McLean winning that one. Buendia. Joe Allen tenacious as ever in the challenge, but leaving his mark on Kenny McLean. Kenny McLean dropping from a great height there. Sheffield United have gone 2-0 up at Hull City. David McGoldrick with his second of the afternoon, so the chances, as things stand, of Norwich clinching it in the early part of this afternoon are beginning to look a little slim. And they're being held here at Stoke. Lewis. Buendia left it, now gets it from Stiepermann. It's a good challenge from Etebo. Pukki. Stiepermann. Now Tom Tribal. Buendia, Stoke with a man down. Norwich play on. Sam Clucas, who's down for Stoke. Tribal on the stretch, pushes that ball away. He was absolutely right not to give a free kick there, Tony Harrington. Tribal was certainly first to the ball. Just catches Clucas perhaps on the follow through, but that is all. Godfrey. And again they are checking their phones. Cut out by Etebo. Such an energetic figure in that Stoke City midfield, Peter Etebo. And now the break could be on for Norwich, led here by Stiepermann. Rolled through to Hernandez, faced by Danny Bart. Hernandez sending over the cross. Shawcross with a header out, sent further on its way by Joe Allen. Only as far as McLean, who gives it to Lewis. Hernandez. Lewis. That's dangerous. This could be even more dangerous. Onel Hernandez! scores for Norwich. One step closer. One step closer. Onel Hernandez with a strike that was hard and low. Lewis with the cross in, only as far as Hernandez, and that is a clinical finish from the Cuban. Stoke City 0, Norwich City 1. Well, look at those Norwich City supporters now. They are doing what they have to do here. Can't really concern themselves too much with events elsewhere. They've got to get the job done here first. They have the goal that they wanted. Hernandez. Buendia, Stiepermann. Norwich looking for another. Into Pukki. Fired at Shawcross. Now the goal scorer, Hernandez. Real chance now for Norwich to spread their wings, having got that goal. McLean, Tribal. Lewis. Well, Norwich at the moment really are controlling the pace of the game. Stiepermann. Swept clear by Shawcross, but it's going to come straight back at them. Godfrey. Buendia trying to switch it. And the ball through was too straight. And he brings that little additional spark, does Emi Buendia. And this is how Norwich got their goal. Really good hit from Onel Hernandez. Tim Krul right down at the other end of the field, celebrating wildly, with those Norwich City fans doing the same behind him. Now Pukki always looking to sniff something out. Ryan Shawcross will have to be on red alert against him. Williams, Klukas, now McLean. Tribal. Lewis going on a run. Hernandez. Godfrey driving forward. Lost it. And now Stoke come away with it in the shape of a Afobe. McLean peeling across to the left for him. McLean against Aarons. Played behind Joe Allen. He's managed to help it wide to Edwards. This is Verlinden. That's interesting. Caught by Krul in the end. Well, Norwich City have only won more away games in 2 previous campaigns. That was in the 09-10 season had in 2014, 2015, and they were promoted on both occasions. Given away by Buendia, and Joe Allen chasing after it, but the Argentine did well. He's made up for his mistake. McLean, Pukki making a run. This is Teemu Pukki, a lot of work to do. It's Pukki. And Butland can't prevent the corner. And he is on course to win the division's Golden Boot. He'd be only the third player in Norwich City history to finish as the divisional top scorer, after Ted McDougall and Kevin Drinkle. Buendia's corner. Godfrey rising. And Butland able to get there for Stoke. Half an hour played. Stoke City 0, Norwich City 1, and a reminder that Sheffield United lead at Hull by 2-0. McLean, Klukas. Klukas again, stretching. And not a good touch from Buendia. It hands Stoke City a corner. Well, McLean and Klukas combining here. And Buendia unable to bring it under control. A little bit frustrated with himself. Here's Edwards. Headed away comfortably by Jamal Lewis. Atabo away from Pukki. Williams. Atabo strikes one. Oh, Tim Krul didn't need to make the save. Always seemed to be curling wide, and Tim Krul, just see, pulled his gloves out of the way when he knew it was indeed going wide. Well, Nathan Jones has won just 3 of his previous 17 league games in charge of Stoke City. Well, play brought back here. Verlinden running across the box, which you're not allowed to do. And this time Tim Krul will kick this one long for Norwich. Aarons. Well, that one did go out of play before bending back in. Well, Norwich are paying their first visit here since January 2016, and they were beaten 3-1 in the Premier League. In fact, their last victory on this ground was almost 6 years ago. Johnny Howson strike got them a 1-0 win. It's their only win in 10 visits. And Lewis knocking it beyond the challenge of Tom Edwards. Here's Lewis again, challenge from behind by Danny Bart. Norwich free kick. Came in January from Wolves, Danny Bart. He was on loan with Middlesbrough before that. Formed a decent partnership alongside Ryan Shawcross. Stiepermann was caught late, and Tony Harrington has indeed awarded Norwich the free kick this time. Peter Etterbo pleading his innocence. Just catches Stiepermann on the foot. Buendia's free kick. Easy header out from Danny Barr. Of course, if Norwich were to slip up today, it could make life very interesting at the top of the table. All of the focus has been on Norwich and their inevitable promotion, but if it was to go sour for them, and Sheffield United and Leeds both won, well, they would only be 3 points behind with a couple of games to go. Buendia, chased down by Etterbo, he's got clear of him and James McLean. Now Pukki's on the move, but Williams with a crucial block. This is Verlinden for Stoke. McLean, Afobe moving into the area. McLean powering forward, and it's been deflected behind for a corner. Max Aarons chasing back and gets a big hug from his goalkeeper, Tim Krul. Refused to let McLean get past him. Max Aarons. Verlinden's corner, punched out by Krul. Back in from Edwards. Danny Bart is up there. Well, a moment of worry for Norwich City. Swung in by Edwards, and Danny Bart very nearly making something of that. Crunching tackle from Edwards on Hernandez, who wins the duel eventually. Tribal. Buendia. Stiepermann. Very casual ball forward from McLean. Brought down by Klukas. Tribal. Lewis. And the Scottish international McLean for Tribal. They are looking to work something down this left-hand side, Norwich. Max Aarons over on the opposite side is in oceans of space. And they seem intent on trying to fashion something down this side. Godfrey is now spreading it. Aarons. And he's got clear of McLean. It's given him a real problem, and he's got Norwich a free kick. Ten years between those two, Max Aarons and James McLean. And Aarons making himself a real nuisance. Buendia surveying the scene. Clipped in. Out it comes to Lewis. Now Tim Krul can get involved. Stiepermann. Blocked by Bart. Breaks kindly here for Etebo. Verlinden making a run through the middle, but Ben Godfrey threw himself into the challenge. And the flag is raised on this near side as well. Norwich free kick. Ben Godfrey taking no prisoners there. It's now 25 games in a row in which Norwich have scored. Inside the last 5 minutes of this first half. Norwich leading by a goal to nil, scored by Onel Hernandez. Stiepermann, Hernandez, Lewis on the underlat. McLean. Sheffield United have gone 3-0 up at Hull. So it doesn't seem likely that Norwich will clinch promotion before 5 o'clock. It might happen later tonight, though, if Leeds United slip up at Brentford. Enda Stevens continuing his recent scoring streak for the Blades, for the latest up at Hull. Tukey beaten to it by Shawcross. McLean. Norwich come again. Williams reading the danger, nipping in ahead of Stiepermann. Here is Ashley Williams. Edwards hurtling after it, Godfrey the favourite. But Edwards gets the break of things. Has gone behind for the goal kick. Well, that Sheffield United score certainly won't dampen the enthusiasm of those Norwich City supporters. All it will do is just delay things a little more. And, barring a catastrophic collapse from Norwich City, it will happen. It's just a case of when. Has been the most fascinating race for promotion from the Championship for some time. Norwich City have been leading the way for a long time, but those behind them, most notably Sheffield United and Leeds, fighting with each other to try and join them. And those two have been swapping places week in, week out. Leeds, of course, beaten by Wigan, which was a massive surprise on Good Friday, which saw them drop out of the top two, replaced by the Blades. It is so difficult to call. Afobe. Godfrey in there for Norwich. Hernandez. Doubled up by both Edwards and Joe Allen. And Danny Bart was surrounded by yellow. It's Buendia trying to shake off Bart's challenge. And Daniel Farker clearly felt his man was being impeded. Danny Bart has got hold of Buendia's shirt. You can understand why Daniel Farker was so upset. You can totally sympathise with the Norwich manager there. Lewis. Just one additional minute to be played at the end of this first half. McLean, good challenge from Etebo. Klukas. McLean. Oh, never got hold of that. There's Bart. Klukas. McLean forced into his own half. As Tony Harrington calls time on the first 45. Norwich City are taking care of business here on El Hernandez with the only goal of the game so far. A low, crisp finish past the England goalkeeper Jack Butland. Norwich are doing what they need to do. The only downside for them is that Sheffield United are doing what they need to do up at Hull. They are cruising there, which means if it stays like this, Norwich won't be promoted by 5 o'clock. It could still happen later on, of course, depending what happens at Brentford. But half-time at the Bet365 Stadium, it is Stoke City 0, Norwich City 1.
We hide hotel names so you can find 4-star hotels at 2-star prices.
HOTWIRE.
Now on AutoTrader, you can start your deal online to save you time at the dealership. Choose from available financing options and get a no-surprise monthly payment based on your information. AutoTrader. Buy faster.
J.D. Power ranked us #1 in customer satisfaction. And TripAdvisor named us the best airline in the U.S. Because we do everything differently for one purpose. You.
It starts with a surge of adrenaline. Neurons fire. Signals flood the nervous system. Limbs begin to lighten. Pupils race back and forth behind closed eyelids. Then open, awakened. it's up to you to decide what to do with it.
Just do it, just everybody, just everybody, come and get it down.
Guys do whatever it takes to deal with shave irritation. So we reimagined the razor with the new Gillette Skin Guard. It has a unique guard between the blades that's designed to reduce irritation during the shave. Because we believe all men deserve a razor just for them. The best a man can get. Gillette.
We hide hotel names so you can find 4-star hotels at 2-star prices.
HOTWIRE, hotwire.com.
Designed for dynamic performance. Designed for all-weather adventure. This is the Acura RDX with super handling all-wheel drive. Designed for the city.
Visit your local Tri-Acura dealer for attractive offers on the RDX.
When we're born, we're more alike than we are different. Then somewhere along the way, we start to believe the more distant we are from each other, the more different we must be from each other. And it's only when we venture out into the world that we realize all the things we share. Maybe that's the power of flight. Delta isn't flying to over 300 places just to bring us together, but to show we were never that far apart in the first place.
respect from the BSP.
Wonderful.
This is Norwich football at its very best. This is Norwich football. This is Norwich football at its very best. This is Norwich football.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Down to commentary restarting in 10, 9, 8. Welcome back, half-time here, Stoke City 0, Norwich City 1. Those Norwich City supporters will be relatively pleased with how things are panning out so far, certainly here anyway, but perhaps not so happy with events at the KCOM Stadium where Sheffield United are cruising at Hull by 3-0. All that means is that if it stays as it is, that Norwich won't be promoted in this part of the afternoon. It might still happen later if Leeds falter at Brentford, but Norwich have to make sure that they get the job done here, but they are halfway there thanks to that goal from Onel Hernandez in the first half. No changes for either team at the break. Norwich kicking towards their supporters in the second 45. This is Ben Godfrey. And that will run loose and behind for the Stoke goal kick. I mentioned about his record in charge, 3 wins in his previous 17 league games. They failed to score, would you believe, in 9 of those. It is quite apparent what he needs to address in the summer. But it has been a shock to the system, life back in the Championship for Stoke City. They really haven't delivered at all. With the squad that they've got, they should be doing far better. Understatement of the year, by the way. Danny Bart's free kick up to Afobe. This is Verlinden. He's got Lewis over there, taking the ball from him. Pinched back by Klukas. And it comes to Joe Allen. Possibility here, Afobe. Oh, slipped at the crucial moment. And McLean attempting to whip it across. And it's gone for the corner. A bright start to the second half from Stoke City. Joe Allen into Afobe. And then lost his footing completely just as he was pulling the trigger. Verlinden's corner. High to Williams! Stoke City back on terms. It's Ashley Williams who's got it. And that has stunned Norwich City supporters into silence. That wasn't meant to be in the script. Well, that changes things just a little bit. Tim Krul got a hand on it but couldn't keep it out. Norwich City sent back to the drawing board. 1 each. A little over 2 minutes played in the second half. Tribal. Well, that will offer a glimmer of hope, certainly to Sheffield United and Leeds United in their quest to chase Norwich City down. Here's Aarons. Well, something of a rare sight, really, for Stoke City supporters, seeing their team score a goal. They have been in short supply this season, but Ashley Williams has scored against the Championship leaders. And this is Verlinden, scooped onto a Afobe, and the outstretched leg of Zimmerman stopped him from getting to it. McLean. Stiepermann to his right. And further wide here is Aarons, but he'll not get there ahead of McLean. Well, Stoke have drawn 19 games this season and level in this one. Buendia. Tribal. Buendia. Atabo. Oh, threatening to come away with it, but did so illegally in the eyes of Tony Harrington. It presents the Canaries with a chance to get ahead in the game again. Sent in by Buendia, straight down the throat of Jack Butland. Again, landed from a great height. Well, not so smiley now, those Norwich City supporters. And one or two just beginning to bite their fingernails. Verlinden. Very lively. Getting it back from Joe Allen. Verlinden again. Well, Stoke City with all of the momentum at the moment. That goal has visibly lifted them. And that team spirit that Daniel Farke has banged on about all season. Well, now Norwich City have to show some of it here. Buendia. Away by Shawcross. Ashley Williams, that was his first goal for Stoke, by the way. Gets up well. Tim Krul tried in vain to keep it out, couldn't manage it. He's had an up and down time for Stoke City this season since coming in on loan from Everton. His future remains unclear, Ashley Williams. Aarons' throw. Given away cheaply by Buendia. Atabo. That's a really good ball. Klukas. Godfrey going out to him. Edwards up from right back. Tribal couldn't take it. Klukas will. Deflected behind. Corner. Well, you wouldn't guess that Stoke City have nothing to play for. Not by how they've started this second half. Good hit from Klukas. Well, Norwich City are getting ready to make a change. Mario Vrancic, the hero of Good Friday, will be with us shortly. First, Norwich have a corner to defend. Marking far post. Here's Williams. Atabo. Might fancy a crack. It's ambitious. And Krul positioned himself brilliantly behind the shot. Well, Well, they really have stepped it up a notch in this second half, the home side. That was moving wickedly in the air as well for Tim Krul. Got down low to stop it. Aarons, Stiepermann, Aarons again. Hernandez slips it away from McLean. And there's Atabo again. Such a hard worker, Peter Atabo. But it is a Norwich corner, and here comes that change. Mario Vrancic coming on to replace Tom Trybull. Could perhaps count himself a shade unfortunate, Mario Vrancic, that he didn't get the starting place. Scored a peach of a free kick on Good Friday in the 7th minute of stoppage time. Buendia's corner. Met by the head of James McLean. Little nudge on him by the substitute Vrancic. Daniel Farker knows that his team simply will not give in. They will give absolutely everything to the very last second. 30 goals they've scored this season in the last 15 minutes of games tells you that. Absolutely remarkable statistic. Williams. Slightly misplaced. Well, Tom Trybull withdrawn with a foot injury. Currently down there with an ice pack on it. Williams. But Edwards steps on the inside of Hernandez and sends it deep. And rising high was McLean. Just couldn't generate enough power on the header. They are asking serious questions of this Norwich team. Aarons. Oh, he spotted the run of Stiepermann. It was a nice idea. Too much pace on the ball through. Atabo, Klukas, and Norwich struggling a little bit here when Stoke are trying to get at them. The home side stroking the ball around with real purpose now. Nathan Jones will be delighted with the first 10 minutes work or so in this second half. Edwards scampering away. Godfrey behind the cross, corner. Some severe height in there, Stoke City as well. Likes of Shawcross and Danny Bart. It's deep to Williams, back across, and Pukki's header away, only as far as Joe Allen. Well, he needs one more goal, Joe Allen, to make it his best ever return in front of goal. He's got 6 at the moment. Really difficult technique to get that on target. Sam Klukas has an issue that will require attention. Been a frustrating campaign in many ways for Sam Klukas. Having been signed from Hull City last summer, he missed the first 3 months of the campaign with a knee injury. Looks as though he should be okay to carry on, though. Well, the radios are out as well. So no change in the Sheffield United score. I think he's the only guy in there who isn't wearing a Norwich City shirt. Klukas gets the signal to rejoin us, so Stoke City back to the full complement. 1-1 here. Vrancic. Buendia. Vrancic over the top. Hernandez wandering, waiting for the flag to be raised, and it does indeed go up in the air. And he is Norwich City's first foreign manager. Daniel Farke came in May 2017. But the side have shown a terrific never-say-die attitude this season. Godfrey. Here's Aarons. It's been quite a battle between Aarons and McLean, and McLean won it that time and was sent sprawling. It was the other McLean who took him out. And here's James McLean for Stoke. Straight out of play. Well, whatever he said at half-time, it certainly had an effect. As I mentioned earlier, his team can have a real say on what happens at the top and bottom of the Championship table in the last few games. It's a chance for Stoke to test themselves against promotion-chasing Norwich here, and then Sheffield United, who come here on the very last day. Game against Millwall in between that. Buendia, Pukki goes down, no free kick. Well, the Norwich fans furious at that. For Linden, onto James McLean. Now Zimmerman steps across. And the referee has given that one, despite McLean saying, look, I'm not touching him. Didn't make the challenge, but still managed to concede a free kick there, James McLean. Kept alive here by Aarons. Buendia. Floating one out to Jamal Lewis. Unable to control it. Pukki challenged by Shawcross from behind and was adamant he should have got a free kick. But by Pukki standards, quiet. Had that chance in the first half. But aside from that, not too much else. But we all know that Teemu Pukki can come alive so quickly. Wouldn't be the first time where he has been quiet in a game and come up with a decisive moment. Hoisted forward by Aarons. Here is Pukki. Buendia. Now the Bosnian Vrancic. Aarons in many ways taking a risk there. No foul though by Afobe, and Stoke have got on with it quickly. For Linden. Verlinden's done brilliantly to get over the cross. Edwards on the other side. Lucas offering support. Edwards clips it in. Joe Allen. Can Verlinden keep the pressure on? The answer is no. Buendia takes it from him. Given away though. Etebo, Allen. Etebo once again. Allen, Etebo. And now Lucas. Well, that's a great chance. Well, this is good Stoke City play. Etebo and Joe Allen combining not once, but twice. And when it comes to Lucas, he couldn't keep the shot down. Well, Nathan Jones knows that should have been a second goal. Well, Stoke City fans showing their appreciation for their side's efforts in this second half. They've shown a lot more than they did in the first half. Made this a real contest. Hernandez. Still he emerges with it. Stiepermann, Hernandez. Well, it was too intricate, and Joe Allen knew exactly what the intention was. And Tom Ince, who's getting ready for action down on the Stoke City bench. Over the top it goes here for a Afobe. Krul's got something to do, and he's done it brilliantly. Just heading the way in the nick of time. Here's Vrancic. Stiepermann. McLean. Vrancic. Buendia. Into Pukki, who's got Ashley Williams snapping at him. Steered out to Aarons. And there's Joe Allen again. Robust challenge on Buendia, who, to his credit, didn't make a meal of it. Kenny McLean. Vrancic trying to work an opening here. Here's one. Pukki! He's come alive at last, Teemu Pukki. Goal scorer extraordinaire. Give him the service. He will score. Norwich back in front. His 28th league goal for the Canaries this season. And it's one that promises to take Norwich City yet another step closer to the promised land. Vrancic with the ball in, and Pukki glances it beyond Jack Butland. Just guides it into the corner. Stoke City 1, Norwich City 2. And Tom Ince has come on for Stoke, replacing Tibor Verlinden. Now Norwich yet again show their powers of recovery. Williams. Ince. Juggle on to Joe Allen. Breaks for Tom Ince again here. Excellent block from Max Aarons. Stoke City are not going to go away quietly and crawl with a not particularly convincing punch. Danny Bart trying to make inroads. Pukki back into Stoke territory. Midway point of the second half, and Norwich City back on course again. McLean. Ashley Williams is struggling out there for Stoke City. Ince. Oh, it's a terrific run from Tom Ince. Equally, a terrific block from Mario Vrancic. A stumble from Hernandez. Edwards could be in! Oh, what a strike from Tom Edwards! Oh, he hit it so sweetly! They might not have anything to play for, Stoke City, but they could have a massive say on what happens at the top of the Championship. His first ever goal for the club. And yet again, the Norwich City fans are silenced. Tom Ince started it with a run. Vrancic with a block. Norwich thought they got away with it. Little stumble there from Hernandez. Open the door for Edwards. And he slams it into the corner. Some game. Stoke City 2, Norwich City 2. Well, twice they've come from behind. Who would be a Norwich City supporter right now, because they are being put through every kind of emotion here. Ashley Williams, who I mentioned, was struggling. He's going to have to come off by the looks of it. The scorer of Stoke City's first will have to make way, but that is a proud moment for Tom Edwards, a player who's come through the youth system here at Stoke City. Well, Ashley Williams is in fact coming back on the field of play. Thought he might have been finished. Here's Aarons for Norwich. Letting go. Butland going down low. Trying to rouse their team again. Stoke City doing their part for themselves and the rest of the Championship here. Klukas clips it over. Well, McLean and Etebo got in each other's way. Well, it's often been said that teams who don't have a great deal to play for can prove to be a difficult obstacle, and that is certainly the case here for Norwich City. But remember, a lot of these Stoke players are playing for their futures under Nathan Jones. Maybe that has served as motivation today. It's, I think many neutrals would have expected this to be a stroll for the Canaries. Well, it definitely hasn't been. Stiepermann, Kenny McLean, Pukki. And chasing back was Sam Klukas. Buendia. Pukki, Vrancic. The target was Jamal Lewis, but it was well read, and Stoke come again. Joe Allen. In towards Klukas. McLean offering support. 3 in red and white in the middle. Headed out by Zimmerman. Edwards. Ince. Joe Allen, full of running as ever. Now Vrancic for for Norwich City. Very, very open game. Bart stepping out from the back. Atabo. Afobe calling for it, not getting it. It's gone to Ince instead. James McLean picking up the bits and driving towards goal, and Krul behind it. Well, Stoke City really relishing this now. Jamal Lewis spotted the gap, went straight through it. Jamal Lewis now trying to steady himself for the shot. Deflected away for a throw. Buendia. Good challenge from Danny Barr. Norwich corner. And the Canaries looking to retake the lead for a third time in this game. Buendia bends one in, flicked away by Afobe. Here's Stiepermann. Vrancic. Kenny McLean. And the break is on. This time led by Benik Afobe. He's got Tom Ince up ahead of him. Excellent run from Afobe. Godfrey chasing him down. And Norwich survive, but they are leaving the door open at the back as they try and get their noses in front again. Stiepermann losing out to Shawcross. So end to end. McLean delivering earlier, Afobe coming in. And Krul covered his near post well. Now we are into the last 15 minutes, and this is where Norwich City tend to do most of their work in terms of goal scoring. 30 goals in the last 15 minutes of matches this season. This is where they really do come to the party. Scooped over the top by Vrancic, and Pukki looking to sniff out an opportunity, but kept at arm's length by Ashley Williams. Well, with a score like this, the Norwich City fans will be very, very concerned about what is unfolding beneath them in the championship table. Sheffield United controlling their game, Leeds playing later on. They both have the opportunity to close the gap. Buendia suffered a painful blow. Williams with the first challenge, and then goes tumbling over. A notable size difference between Buendia and Ashley Williams. Aarons. Hernandez. Ashley Williams coming out on top. Here's Ince. Oh, beautifully done. Put it through the legs of McLean. Here's Joe Allen. Tom Edwards galloping up from right back. Closed down by Pukki. That's excellent play from Teemu Pukki. Putting the hard yards in, going back the other way. Norwich have won 6 of their previous 7 matches played on Easter Monday, and if they are going to win this, they'll have earned it. Vrancic. Stiepermann goes down under the challenge of Ashley Williams. Benicophobe struggling somewhat. Tom Edwards is down as well, the right back. So Nathan Jones may well be forced into at least one change. There's a Phobie who pulls up. The Phobie is moving rather better now, but Tom Edwards is also back on his feet, but they are signalling the change. Well, Nathan Collins could well come on for him, the 17-year-old defender. Well, the high point of the afternoon for Tom Edwards is getting his first Stoke City goal, but it ends on a sour note as he has to depart early. Really was a terrific strike from Tom Edwards, who's made himself first choice right back this season. Arrowed into the far corner. There's simply nothing Tim Krul could do about it. But he will enjoy looking back at that one. Local lad. And a moment for him to relish. And here comes 17-year-old Nathan Collins, who made his first league start in the defeat at Middlesbrough on Good Friday. Big boy, isn't he? Vrancic with a free kick. Away by Shawcross. Vrancic again. Hernandez. Pull back for Lewis. Buendia. We are inside the last 10 minutes here. Locked at 2 apiece. Buendia somehow skipping his way through. And still Buendia. Poking it wide here to Stiepermann. Well defended by Ashley Williams. Look at the trickery here from Emi Buendia. Gets a bit of fortune to start with. He literally dances around several challenges. Moritz Leitner being readied by Norwich. Hernandez. Low ball in, that could have gone anywhere. Well, that was a devilish ball in from Onel Hernandez, and Butland managed to flick it away. Aarons. Oh, nice link-up play. Aarons with a cross, too close to the England keeper. Smash downfield towards Afobe, who holds it up but needs support. He's got it now in the shape of Sam Klukas. Zimmerman sticks out the leg. And here comes the Norwich change. Morris Leitner, who was left out of the starting 11, is on to replace Onel Hernandez, scorer of the first goal of the game, which feels like a lifetime ago now. Vrancic. Leitner. Stolen back by Collins for Stoke. Misplaced by Afobe, pounced on by Pukki. Well, that will be a foul. I think Pukki wanted one for the initial challenge. Suggesting the referee should take further action, but Tony Harrington not listening. Godfrey. Vrancic into Lewis. The angle's tight! Just couldn't find the far corner. He's still searching for his first league goal for Norwich. He was very close to getting it there. His only previous goal for the club came in an FA Cup defeat at Chelsea last year. Well, they'll still believe that it can be done. Remember, they have scored 8 goals in the 90th minute or later this season, Norwich. So, bags of time yet. Collins. Joe Allen. Well, he's not the biggest Joe Allen, but he certainly stands up to any kind of battle that comes his way. Buendia. There's Joe Allen again, snapping at Aarons. Leitner. Pukki. Jamal Lewis creeping up over on that left-hand side. It's Lewis. And Stoke got bodies in the way of the shot. Vrancic. Steps away from Joe Allen. Oh, he slipped as he hit it. Well, whatever happens, Nathan Jones, I think, will take plenty away from this Stoke City performance, especially in the second half. I think he will see certain elements of this performance that he can build on and work with going forward. Still got a massive job on his hands to turn Stoke City around. Very much a work in progress. Vrancic over the top for a much more well-oiled Norwich City machine this season. Possession wrestled back by Pukki. This is Vrancic. Leitner. Aarons. Buendia. Lewis hunted down by Klukas, but he's beaten him. Can't find a way beyond Etebo. Williams can clear Stoke City lines. Vrancic put the ball in the area where Jamal Lewis has usually been, but sadly for him, he wasn't there this time. Vrancic. Leitner. Lewis. Poked through towards Pukki and put behind by Danny Barr. Norwich corner met by a huge roar by those in yellow behind the goal. Buendia's corner. I think he went off Stiepermann last. Well, we're hearing there'll be 5 additional minutes at the end of this. Well, Norwich could probably get 3 more in that spell. Such has been their form late on in games this season. Buendia. Leitner over the top, one for Pukki to chase. Butland's coming for it. There's McLean. Took it first time. Trying to embarrass Jack Butland. And if he gets that right, Kenny McLean, that would have been some goal. Some goal indeed. And still they hope they can find at least one more goal. This has not been plain sailing by any stretch for Norwich. Confirmation of the 5 added minutes as Ince chases down a lost cause. Lewis. Vrancic. Stiepermann keeping the ball in play. Lewis driving for the line. Corner. They continue to knock at the door. Leitner to take this one. Now in stoppage time. In towards Godfrey. Butland saw it coming. Just gets there ahead of Ashley Williams. Butland down low to drop on it. Sheffield United have done their bit. They've won by 3-0 at Hull, which means, as things stand, Norwich's lead over the Blades is 3 points only. Leeds, of course, playing later. So as it stands, Norwich wouldn't be promoted today. Lewis. Leitner clips it over. Aaron's in space. It's Max Aaron's, and his cross is charged down by McLean. Vrancic spins away from Tom Ince. Stiepermann. They're queuing up in the middle. Diving header out from Collins. And collected by Godfrey. Leitner. We've seen Norwich score late so many times this season. Can they do it again? Stiepermann's ball in straight down the throat of Jack Butland. Phoebe putting Zimmerman under pressure with a big German up to the challenge and trying to launch another Norwich City attack. Aarons. Oh, free kick conceded here in a dangerous position. Could this be the chance Norwich have been waiting for? Vrancic over it. It's bending dangerously. It's cleared by Shawcross. Lewis. Buendia. Stiepermann. Lewis again. Back it comes for Leitner. Kenny McLean. It's low. Bart was there. Stiepermann likewise. Godfrey miskicked it. It's Aarons. It's a Norwich corner. Dying embers of the game. Buendia takes. Hits Shawcross in the box. Well, Leitner was appealing for a handball and Krul taking a risk. And here come the Canaries again. There is to be no late winner here in the Potteries. Well, the reaction of the Norwich City fans and players tells you everything. This looks as though it is going to the wire. Twice they led, twice they were pinned back by a Stoke City team who refused to let Norwich have this all of their own way. Sheffield United winning has turned up the heat on the Canaries. Tom Edwards playing his part for Stoke City, getting the all-important second equaliser. And there will be a lot of nerves now in the Norwich City camp. What appeared to be, a few weeks ago, just a simple stroll towards promotion will be anything but from this point. The challengers are closing in, and it really will be a test of Norwich City's mettle from here. The fans applauding their team, but they could not find the win. And Norwich City, to be certain of promotion, now need to win both of their remaining games. It is going to be some end to this championship campaign, but there is to be no party today. The wait goes on. They are still at the gates to the Premier League, but they remain locked. Full time here, Stoke City 2, Norwich City 2.
We hide hotel names so you can find 4-star hotels at 2-star prices.
HOTWIRE.
JD Power ranked us #1 in customer satisfaction. And TripAdvisor named us the best airline in the U.S. Because we do everything differently for one purpose: you.